This is my Altra Monc Blanc Carbon review.
Shaking the case of your heart, washing your face of the blood. I didn't know you act tough.
Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel, Very Adequate. I am a 43-year-old, what I consider hybrid athlete. I do attend a local CrossFit gym. I enjoy CrossFit quite a bit. I also do a bit of trail running, usually trail races, anywhere from 1 mile to 50 Ks, or about 32, 33 miles, depending on the race. Usually I'll run about one interval per month for my running training outside of CrossFit. Usually I like to do 3 minutes on, 1 minute off, and I pretty much exclusively run on the trails. I find that a lot more fun than road running, and therefore I thought I'd start off my YouTube channel with a review of the Altra Monc Blanc Carbon racing shoes. These are the first super shoe for the trails from Altra. Altra did have Mont Blancs last year, which was a racing shoe, but this is the first one with a carbon plate inside it. So I thought I'd start off with that. My previous, I've been running in Altra shoes since Altra first came out, and my favorite Altra shoe to date are the King MTs, but sadly they no longer make those. So I thought I'd start off with the Altra Carbon, Mont Blanc Carbon. It's obviously their first attempt at a super shoe. It's very similar to the Mont Blanc from last year with this sole. It is nothing like the Vanish Carbon as far as how it feels, which makes sense. This is a trail shoe, not a road shoe, but obviously you kind of want to compare the two since they are both carbon shoes. On the shoe side, I do like gadgets. I like gear. Since I don't train a lot of trail running, I'm always looking for what little edge can I get. And obviously shoes are a big part of that. Running shorts, your vest, your water bottles, watches, all that good stuff helps. But shoes, you're running, they have the biggest impact. So I'm kind of a sucker for gear. And like I said, I love Altra shoes. They're definitely the most comfortable. I run the best in zero drop. If you see me running, it's going to be in an Altra shoe, whether it be road or trail. In the gym, I don't like their shoes. I previously used the Altra Hit shoe, which they no longer make. But now I use any sort of shoe like the Reebok Nano, the Strike Movement, but anything with a 4mm or less drop. So I'm currently using Nano 2s or Strike Movements in the gym. This is the Altra Mont Blanc Carbon. I'll put the stats on the screen. Mine is a size 9.5, and it is 259 grams on the scale. It's 274 grams with the gator. It features a full-length carbon plate for what they call extra propulsion. It has the Altra Ego Max in the rim of the shoe, and then it has the Altra Ego Pro in the core of the shoe for the sole. And then on the bottom, it has the Vibram Mega Grip, which is a very good grip. I'm glad to see that on here. It works very well on the trail. The foot shape, Altra has several different foot shapes. They consider this one standard, and it has a stack height of 29 millimeters. For comparison, the Vanish Carbon 2 has a stack height of 36 millimeters. And they consider this cushion type high and a stability neutral shoe. So we'll go over kind of what's going on with the shoe. You can see the tread, Vibram, good grip on here. She does pretty good in the slop, as Kramer would say.
This horse loves the slop. It's in his bloodlines. His father was a mutter. His mother was a mutter.
His mother was a mutter?
What did I just say? Come on, let's go up to the office. I'm gonna call.
I ran it on a muddy race. It did well. I mean, I don't think I've had any shoe that eats up the slop. So I would not consider this a great slop, but I also would say it did pretty darn well. The heel pull is great. There's some cushioning definitely on the heel and on the side right here. You can see right there. It is very comfortable. When you first put it on, I noticed it didn't feel like it needed to be broken in. Obviously, you want to do a practice run. You want to see how you want to lace it. Everybody's foot's a little different. The tongue has a little padding right here. I don't know if it's focusing well there. And then you can see it's very lightweight material. It's see-through. You can kind of see my finger through the side here. The top is not quite see-through, but it's very airy. It's very light material. And then this has some protective molding here because obviously we're running on a trail. We don't want to kick rocks. So I'll splice in some video of me running during this whole time while I kind of go over the positives and negatives. The bottom line, I like the shoe, but it needs to be part of your rotation. It cannot be your only trail shoe, and I'll go into that. So I'll always start off with the pros. Immediately when I put it on, it's very comfortable. I put it on and it felt like it didn't need broken in. I just needed to lace it up, get the lacing right, and go from there. It was ready to roll. Obviously, I had to play with the lacing a little bit. I'm a double knotter. I do wear trail gaiters with it. I'm a big fan of the Altra trail gaiter. It hooks right in. I'll have video of me putting that on. I'm always kicking stuff in any of my shoes, so I definitely recommend that. They are definitely my go-to long run shoe. If I'm going to wear them, they're going to be for probably half marathon or longer. So my trail races here locally, like I said, I did a 1 mile trail race, 2 mile, 5K, 5 miler, half marathon, and 50K. I'm not going to wear them for the 5 miler or below. Half marathon or longer, maybe 10 miler or longer, they will be my go-to shoe. They immediately felt good on the foot. I could wear them all day. They're a lot more comfortable than the Timp. They kind of felt similar to the Lone Peak 8 to me as far as, hey, I put these on, they feel comfortable. You still have to learn how you want to lace them up. I would still obviously suggest a practice run in them to make sure they are fitting correctly, because you know what feels good for a minute is going to feel a lot different a couple miles into a race. But they definitely felt good in the box. By comparison, the Timps, the Timp 5s, they took probably about 3 to 5 miles of running before they truly felt comfortable. They definitely felt like they needed to be broken in. The Mont Blanc's Carbons, they'll be my go-to long run shoe, 10 miles or longer. This past year, I did races ranging from 1 mile on the trails all the way up to a 50K. These would be my 10 miles or longer shoe. So if it's a 1 mile uphill trail race, these probably aren't going to be my shoe. I'd probably actually wear the Timp 5 for that. I just feel like they're a little firmer than these. These are very soft, so they feel great going all day. They're a great, 7 out of 10 effort or below jogging shoe. They have great grip going uphill, downhill, and even in the mud. Obviously, they're going to slide in the mud. They do not. I've not had a shoe yet that just, oh, I'm running through mud. Who would have known? But they do feel great. They're my 9.5s. They definitely fit, like I said, a little bit similar to the Lone Peak 8 versus the Timp 5s. I wear 9.5 in all the Altra shoes, and these fit great, and they feel great. They are responsive, but they feel a bit more responsive when you're going downhill or on flats than uphill. So I really feel like the carbon plate and the foam really returns energy more there. The uphill, I didn't notice it as much. Like, oh yeah, this felt great going uphill. Like, they feel good. There's no heel slippage for me. You can definitely see in the shoe, the tongue has some padding. The heel cup has quite a bit of padding. The lacing system, you can see how light the material is. You can see my finger kind of through there. This is very light material right here, and then this is obviously a little harder because you got to protect your foot from kicking rocks. You can see how squishy the foam is. I mean, I'm not applying much pressure there at all. And then of course you have the Vibram outsole. So it's a very comfortable shoe. Got our little heel pull. Got the gator Velcro. And then the other part of the gator just goes on the laces. But it's a very comfortable shoe. So the cons, it's very soft. I wouldn't want to use them for a sprint race. I wouldn't use them for a Spartan race, and I would not use them for rucking. For rucking, I like to ruck quite a bit. I would recommend the Lone Peak 8. That's a terrific rucking shoe. I wear 65-pound ruck almost every night when I'm walking my dog for anywhere from 1 to 3 miles, and he does great with that. It's not my favorite color, but that's personal preference. It is nothing like the Altra Vanish Carbon line, so it's not like the road shoes. Do not get this expecting to feel like the road shoes. I have the Vanish Carbon 2s. I'll be doing a review of those. But when I first put on the Vanish Carbon 2s and walk downstairs in them, they feel weird. They almost feel like moon shoes. There's so much energy return. The foam's so different than what I was expecting. But these feel more like just like a nice padded trail shoe with some energy return. So I definitely like them, but don't expect them to feel like the Vanish Carbons. But that's to be expected. You cannot, in my opinion, I wouldn't want that much energy return running down hills, running down switchbacks, dodging, fallen trees, dealing with roots, rocks, etc. So it's obviously a trade-off, but just be aware you're not getting a trail version of the Vanish Carbon. And then of course, these are running only shoes. They would not be ideal for a ruck. They are what I consider the long day running shoe. You could definitely train in them for a longer run. That's not my running style. I'll do that for racing, but I do mostly interval running. So these will be mostly in my closet and pulled out for a 10 miler, half marathon, or 50K ultra run. Having said that, they are a good shoe, but just keep that in mind for the amount of money, what you will be using them for. The wear on them, it's got the Vibram outsole, so thus far it's been pretty good. I've got about probably 10 miles in them plus, so they look pretty normal to me for only 10 miles, of course, hard to say. Definitely, as I said, they're bouncy and responsive in the midsole, and they can feel fast, but I did not feel like they're much faster than the Temp 5. So if you're doing anything sub 10 miles, I would just say get the Temp 5, provided they're comfortable, and race in those. If you're going over 10 miles and your feet kind of want that extra rest, look at the Altra Monc Blanc Carbon. Overall, I would suggest the shoe. I would give it probably a B rating, just because you have to really enjoy long runs, and you would probably want 2 pairs of them if you were a hardcore runner. You'd probably want a training pair and then a race pair. And then again, I'm not a running coach, so I'm not sure how the carbon plate would mess with your gait and whatnot. It did not mess with my gait. It did not really change how I was running. It felt good, but it was not really changing or improving my intervals. So for those interval runs, 3 minutes of 90% effort, 1 minute of jogging, it felt good. My feet never felt tired, never had slipping issues, but I was not noticeably faster, and I did not feel noticeably faster than the Temp 5. And I think that's going to be the hard part. It's definitely a very comfortable shoe, but I would consider it an ultra racing shoe, or half marathon or longer, not a 5-mile trail run. But it is a fun shoe, and again, it was super comfortable putting it on, which is a big thing. The Temp 5 was not super comfortable when I put that on. I did have to break that one in. Anyway, thank you for coming to my review. If you would have any questions, put them in the comments. Otherwise, please like the video, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, I'll be doing a Temp 5 review, a Vantage Carbon 2 review, Lone Peak 8 reviews, and probably just some other random fitness enthusiast videos.